To make the calculation because there's still sufficient distance from the finish there for some of them to attack. Will we see that? And the gap, just over 5.5 minutes at the moment, and the big wide road here as we're on, and the percentage 13%, that is a real killer. If you have a narrow road, it doesn't look as as steep when you look up, or when you have a very large road, that is the real killer. And we can see the difference. The group here, led by Saxo Tinkoff team, and the way they're climbing here, you can see that there's much more speed in them there. We're back again here. Although again, his riding style is deceiving, because he just keeps sitting there on a big gear and ploughs away. He doesn't have the same cadence as some of the riders we have here from the Saxo bank, so he can be going close to the same speed, but I don't think it's the case. This group is travelling that bit faster than our two leaders out in front.
Yep, pace up again. The pace is up again. A little bit more of injection of pace. Who's going to be strong in the back there? Moreno again. Daniel Moreno, Maxime Montfort, just about hanging in there. Rodriguez looking comfortable. He's got nobody around him. It has been interesting that he's capable of doing that in this year's Vuelta, Sean. He's had men to control the race early on, but he clearly is in a class of his own at the moment, because he's unlike Valverde and unlike Contador. He's had no team about him in these places, these really difficult finishes. Moreno has been there, yes, but only once or twice, very briefly.
Yes, well, he's been there when he's got to do some pulling on the front, Moreno, for Rodriguez, but he has been, not that far off, because the general classification position at the moment, 451 down in that 5th place. That tells that he has been there all the time. Never really needed to pull. Only the 2 occasions I think we see him just keeping the pace high on the front. As we can see here, Saxo Bank still working very, very fast, and keeping the pace high all the time as another man peels off.
Rafael Mike has done his bit, Nothing more that Rafael Mike can do.
And this is causing real problems here. We can see this group is splitting, and 5 or 6 riders pulling away here.
Yep, this is the cream rising to the surface once more, and Froome is in trouble again. Froome following Robert Hessink and Laurens ten Dam here. No, that's it for Froome. Sorry, Froome fans, I'm afraid there's not going to be much of a way back here. Same for Hessink, and ten Dam looking on the rivet as well here. There's young Bart de Klerk.
Chastity from Movistar.
Igor Anton nowhere to be seen here. Contador looks over his shoulder to see, have we shed everybody else? Are you ready for the big explosion in the last 4 or 5 kilometers as Perez keeps the pressure on? The only man able to stay with them is Quintana here. Wait for it, wait for it. 5 kilometers for our leading 2 riders. They're still just keeping going. There's not an awful lot we can say about these 2 now. They're just working together as well as they can. Just turning over the pedals and seeing if they can contest the finish together, which is a super steep 22% before it just flattens off a little bit. 5 minutes is the gap. They are going to make it to the top, I'm sure, for the win. The breakaway will succeed again today, but this is where the action is at. Perez buries himself on the front. Ahead of Contador, Rodriguez, Valverde, and Quintana still here as he was yesterday. He's not afraid of pushing a big gear, is he? Well, this has been a spectacular Vuelta. There he goes. I just wondered whether he'd use the crowd as a way of concealing the attack. Comes out of the crowd, and Contador is on the way. He ups the pace once again. Not a massive stinging attack, but he's kept the pace another revolution or 2 higher. He can't get rid of the other 2 that way. He already knows he's got rid of Chris Froome. I'm afraid, Sean, It is the end of all hope of Chris Froome being on the podium in the Vuelta a España, because he's going to lose minutes upon minutes upon minutes here.
Yes, it looks very much the case, and it has been looking that way. Certainly yesterday again, you could see that the three men up in the top places of general classification, Rodriguez, Contador, Valverde, they were the better men, and it looks like the same today. But you never know, because we're still quite a bit from the finish, and we can see Valverde starting to lose. Some of these guys could really get into difficulty in the final kilometres and start to, really struggle to keep it going. When you hang in like this and you go into the red, as Contador is pushing on here, maybe Valverde is, just going a little bit too, pushing himself too much, and times you can blow totally when you do that.
If, of course, Valverde does blow absolutely totally, then if Froome is just pegging away, he might come back to him. Oh, this is Contador is really trying to turn the screw on everybody here. Rodriguez is suffering. Rodriguez behind knows that this is exactly what's going to happen. Valverde has gone from this group here. He's got to just ride at his own pace now. He can't match these two. If he tries to match these two, as Sean says, it's going to kill him. It's going to kill him off, and there won't be any way back. He's just got to hang in and hope for this slightly flatter section here. Quintana just waits for him and can try and pace him a little bit now.
And this is an important part here. When it eases off a bit, if you have a teammate who can pull you along for a time, it's a great opportunity, to recover a bit, because when you're in the slipstream and the percentage is not real big, well, then you can recover a lot. But Contador, change of tactic today. We did see yesterday these sudden accelerations, which he's capable of doing so well, and explosive big attacks. He's continuing on setting a real fast pace here, and I think team tactic will try another one here today, just to keep on the pace up a little bit, but still no slow down like we see yesterday in Lagos de Covadonga, where they almost came to a standstill. For the moment, none of that today.
Greg, 1954, our resident Froome fan, saying the Spaniards have ganged up on Froome. Everybody will gang up on everybody to try and win, you can see.
Well, they ain't no ganging up today.
This is it. It's just every man for himself.
Every man for himself, as we see Quintana here doing a great job, just with Valverde in his wheel, clawing the way back to our two leaders.
He's a fantastic rider, Quintana. Winner of the Tour of Murcia, and one of the real up-and-coming stars of Colombian riding, Quintana. Well, Contador's tried to keep that pace as high as possible to destroy them, but he's not got rid of Rodriguez. He's not going to get rid of Rodriguez in that way. Time to just let the Colombian do a little bit of pacemaking, I think, Sean, and not go too hard now, not go too fast into the red, because we've got the most vicious sections still coming up. 17.5% with only 3 kilometers to go, and then 20%, over 20% within the last kilometer. So just ease it back a little bit, but not too much to let these guys come back, maybe.
No, they're just going to continue making a good pace, and we can see Valverde is happy with a real strong pace, and Quintana just continuing on doing that. That's what Valverde prefers. And if you slow it down, then Contador will try and attack and just throw in these sudden accelerations, and we know that Valverde doesn't like it, but here, there's nobody wanting to commit, and Valverde is just pushing on a little bit.
Valverde is exactly, as you say, Sean, doesn't like the big acceleration, so he can respond maybe once, maybe twice, but not in the really steep stuff. He's much better at this. Lying third in the overall classification, 1 minute and 41 seconds back. He's 1:21 down on Alberto Contador. There's no way in a month of Sundays he's going to take that back on Contador today. But he's just trying to make sure that he doesn't get completely destroyed by keeping his pace. This is what he wants to do. 4 minutes 41 is the gap between these four men here and our two leading riders who we're not really concentrating on at the moment. They will try and contest the final sprint to the top for the stage win. But these are the three big men of the Vuelta a España. On the left, in the green points jersey, Alejandro Valverde, returning to riding about a year or so ago after a long suspension. Took a long time to bring him to justice for being involved in the operation, or linked with the Operation Porto investigation. Took a trip into Italy to be able to take a test, to use that result in the Tour de France to link him with names in Operation Porto. Served his 2-year suspension, and to be honest, that's all we can say about it. Can't necessarily make judgment on a rider's performance now on their performance in the past, what they've done. Same with Alberto Contador. Quintana has a quick word with his teammate. Valverde in the green, in the white combined jersey is Alberto Contador. Look at this. This is a sort of extremely long Angleroo, Sean, this climb, isn't it?
Yes, you can see there the percentage, you know, just really kicks up. 22%, 21%, and this is it's a real killer, and it'll be interesting to see with Contador, will he try, you know, put up the pace again here?
He will. Tailwind blowing him up a bit. Do you feel, Sean, then that Contador won't have it in the legs anymore?
Well, you could see Contador sitting on the front there, and he's looking about. It would be interesting to see. I think as we get further up the climb and the days go on, that the confidence he's losing a bit, that, you know, he's not able to crack these other two men in the general classification, notably Joaquim Rodriguez, who was leader of the race. And there comes a point when you say, well, I'm not going to, be able to get rid of those guys. But as we know, Contador, it's, he never stops trying. And I think on the steep section, he will try it once again. Will he have, anything? I doubt if he's going to be able to put Rodriguez in difficulty. But you never know in bike riding. A rider can be so good for 5, 6, 8k of a climb, and suddenly as you get into the final 2 kilometres, this 23% at the moment with just 2 kilometres to go.
Dario Cataldo, 12th in the Giro d'Italia, grinding away at the top. No other word for it. Contador is setting the pace at the moment. Is he going to inject anything else? He's been unsuccessful so far in breaking the other riders. Valverde will be on his guard because he knows that Alberto Contador and Joaquim Rodriguez have the ability to jump. It's an odd situation, actually, Valverde finds himself in. He's in decent enough shape to be away from Christopher Froome and safe in third, but he knows he isn't going to take any more time out of the other two at this point, as Cataldo, I think, looks as though he's trying to up the pace and break Tigent here. Contador. Here he goes, wait for it. Here, injection again, that little pace that he can push into the climb. Valverde okay with this one at the moment, as is Rodriguez. Quintana just capable of sitting there. He's a real big star for the future, Quintana. Again, he's one of these riders who can't time trial well, but just as we suspected, Sean, Cataldo just trying to push that final gear that he's got and break Thomas Tigent here. Tigent, there's nothing you can do. If you can't respond, you can't respond. You just got to sit there and tap away. All this has been resurfaced in the recent past. Only one team car allowed in the last 3 kilometers or so. And it's not exactly wide, is it? Oh, that looks very nasty. I'm rather glad I'm sitting here than on one of those saddles. Ooh, ouch. Well, they must be pretty good mates now, these three. Been riding around, 4. Must have been riding around together for goodness knows how long.
45 seconds for Froome, as we can see there, back on this group of 4 riders as Quintana pushes on. Which is surprising, yes, because I was expecting him just to say follow here and just be at the service of Valverde if he needed at any time, but no, he's going to go on here. And we could see him there, he was just tightening up his ratchets on his shoes, and you know, he's going to have a go for surprisingly.
This is Alberto Contador now again, one of these little attacks. We said exactly this. Is he going to make a dig on this very super steep section? He is. Quintana just up the road. He's going to go past him. Well, I think actually Valverde was having a quick word with the team car a little earlier, and then had a chat with Quintana, or vice versa. And I think perhaps it was agreed that he could have a go. This is brutal. Contador's not going to break him this way, I don't think. Valverde's the one who's going to crack at this point, if anything. There it is. He can't deal with this super steep stuff. He's just got to grit his teeth and hang in there. 23%. Contador is trying to take the fight to Rodriguez. If he could put just one more turn in, maybe Rodriguez would fail, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anything of the sort. And he's right in the wheel track, Sean, just making Contador look around and see where he is all the time. The pace eases up. Contador can't do it anymore. Rodriguez is right on his shoulder. It's not going to happen. Joaquim Rodriguez, I think, is going to win the Vuelta now.
Yes, it's looking more and more that case, and we could see there Rodriguez, you know, out of the saddle, and then he was able to sit in the saddle for a moment long before Contador was doing it, and just sat back in the saddle for, you know, a number of seconds, then out of the saddle again. He's looking pretty comfortable, and Contador is just giving it his all, and it was the moment to do that. 23%, that's where Contador, as we know, he can really put people under pressure, but Rodriguez matching every effort, every attack by Contador.
Magnificent effort by Dario Cataldo. He's summoned up something from somewhere, as the great co-commentator Paul Sherwin went. He said once he's dug deep into his suitcase of courage and brought out just enough extra wattage to get away from Thomas de Gent. Valverde here by himself. Venga, that's taking on the side of the road. Go. That's all he can do. You know, really, for a commentator, there's not an awful lot you can say tactically about something like this. It is, if you can try and get away from a rider by attacking, like Contador does, by breaking them, that's about the most sophisticated tactic you get on a mountain like this. See if you can up the pace and break the guys behind you. There ain't nothing else to talk about, really, in that sense. There's the suffering and the majesty and the ridiculous fans who run alongside, and Contador would rather they aren't there, I think. But there's the scenery and the fact that Rodriguez is completely seems to be unbreakable. He's still watching as Valverde starts to ride back up to the wheel here. Contador's going to go again. Just sense it. You just sense it on this super steep stuff. He feels that perhaps he could make a difference, and immediately Valverde is 20 bike lengths off, Sean.
Yes, and he was at what, 4 or 5 bike lengths off, and
demoralising.
In 50-80 metres, you know, he loses 5 bike lengths, 10 bike lengths so quickly, and you know, Contador, we can see there, he is just, you know, trying, giving his all, but Rodriguez, you know, looking comfortable at the moment. We're hearing, I think, 12 seconds Cataldo back to de Gent just a little time ago, so it'll be interesting to see that if Cataldo can keep it going as he was doing. It looks like that he's going to hold on to get a stage victory. And Contador again here on this section, 23%, just upping the pace once again.
There is nothing in the lack of effort, is there, from Alberto Contador to try and break Joaquim Rodriguez. He has tried everything. It's impossible. This last 2 kilometres has gone on forever for Dario Cataldo. He's dropped Thomas de Gent. He looks over the shoulder. Has de Gent got anything that he can bring up? He's gone, gone, gone. And now Rodriguez starts to take up the pacemaking here on the front. I wonder, in that little section we've seen Dario Cataldo just now, I wonder how long it'll be before Joachim looks over the shoulder and goes kapow, and away he goes. I can't remember a Grand Tour being this brutal, Sean. It's been relentless day after day after day.
Yes, well, it's the days we talked about, you know, 3 vicious days, and they certainly have lived up to that. And you know, we can see we have some great pictures here of this final climb. You know, 21%, 23%, and you can see the way our 2 riders here.
And again's trying to come back to it.
They're just you know, creeping, clawing their way to the finish.
Oh my word! Oh, this is just painful to watch, let alone ride.
200 meters.
200 meters of excruciating agony for Dario Cataldo. He can hardly move. It'd be quicker to get off and run. Perito has got these in the driving seat now here, ahead of what must be a fairly broken Alberto Contador. I've never seen a slower stage finish. This is incredible. Dario Cataldo in the break all day, just Thomas de Gent for company. Has 100 meters before he can get off his bike. And there is nothing he wants more than to finish the winner of this stage and the man who can get off the bike first. Dario Cataldo. Here he comes up towards the line. De Gent tried hard. You could see he was trying to close that gap in the last 200. It slackens off slightly. The Italian Dario Cataldo takes the biggest win of his career. He's done it. Cataldo gets it. Not much of a celebration there. He had to grab the bike. De Gent just a few bike lengths off him. Hangs his head. He can't repeat the Stelvio. And now Valverde, Contador and Rodriguez. Nothing in the tank, the lungs, the head, the heart, anything for Cataldo anymore. That is the slowest finish I've ever seen on a Grand Tour. And we've got these 3 to go up at next. Oh, unbelievable. Just unbelievable. 500 meters to go in the steepest part of the entire race. And Contador thought, I got one more chance to break the little man in red. No, you don't, says Perito. We postulated that this would be the case. Anything you can do, I can match it. I'll tell you what, I'll lead you home, shall I?
And take the 4 seconds bonification.
Extraordinary. And look at the distance they put into Valverde almost immediately. Contador's going to have another go. Let's wait for it. 200 meters to go. And even the super climbers of this Vuelta a España are just grinding almost to a halt. This has been the most spectacular 3 days. And time and again, the man in white here, Alberto Contador, has tried to break the Catalan Joaquim Rodriguez. This is going to go down as one of the all-time great Grand Tours. There is no doubt in my mind about that. 24%. Is he going to try again? He's going to try and get around him again, Contador. I don't think there's anything left in the tank for either of them. He's making himself awfully wide, Perito. Just listen to the crowd. And just almost just try to force the bike forward in little movements all the time. Contador, the gearing just not allowing any sort of smoothness of rhythm, and Rodriguez drives to the line, takes a few more seconds bonus. Contador, the beaten man, He looks over his shoulder to see where Valverde is. Rodriguez gets third. Contador gets fourth. More time put into Valverde, although he's still riding exceptionally well. He cannot match the other two in these sorts of finishes. So it is a good ride by Alejandro Valverde. These are the men for the podium. And I think in that order, Sean, it's been the final shake-up today.
Yes, well, it's definitely the shake-up, and we could see Valverde there. The moment he came back to the two leaders, started pushing on the pace a bit, and he knows that, you know, I think the third place on the podium is the best he can do, and he's just trying to take as much advantage ahead of Froome in general classification, and that's the reason he was riding there, was just inside a kilometre to go.
What an incredible finish. Up to Valgrande Pajares at the Vuelta Negru, and fighting to make it to the line. Igor Anton here. His Euskaltel Telescadi team tried to make something of today, but it wasn't to be. Igor Anton is riding well, but he's going to improve his time overall, I think, Sean, because Roach has gone way out the back door today. Talansky, he's putting time into Talansky here. It's de Klerk and Froome. Oh, look at the pain. It's Ten Dam who's beaten Hesink over the line. Not separated by many seconds, but my word, I didn't expect that. What a finish. Oh, Christopher. Oh, it's painful to watch. Daniel Moreno comes over. De Klerk and Froome. I don't think I've seen a bunch of bike riders suffer so much in such a long time. And Froome makes it to the line, almost grinding to a halt on the last 24% section, with Maxime Montfort chasing him on the wheel, and 5 minutes lost again, Sean, for Christopher Froome.
Yes, and of course we see Anton coming over there just over 4 minutes, so Froome loses a minute to Anton, so you know, and quite a bit more to the other men in the general classification, and we can see Ten Dam putting in a great performance once again. Moreno finishing quite well there, considering he was in big difficulty at the very earlier start or beginning of the climb.
The very interesting thing now, Sean, will be, this is the really interesting thing will now be that we have our top three, that's for sure. Unless there's an absolute disaster, it will be Rodriguez, Contador and Valverde on the top three steps of the podium in Madrid on Sunday. It's just looking so much clearer than anybody else. Those three will be there. In that order we would suspect, but the battle behind is getting very close indeed. Froome is slipping backwards a little bit. Moreno is moving up a bit. Ten Dam and Hesink going well. Roach is going down. Anton's going up. It's going to get very tight for anything beyond third place.
Yes, there is going to be certainly movement down from third place. I think Froome, he's probably saved his place today, because Moreno, you know, is that bit further off. He's at 4:51 to Froome at 2:16, so he will hold on to his third place. And tomorrow, the rest day, of course, a little bit of opportunity for the guys to recover.
Not sure that classes as a bike race, that last 2 kilometres. That was just torture. Somebody writing in on Twitter, why don't they just get off and run? Well, we did say it half jokingly. I mean, there are races where you do get held up and you do have to get off and run to just get back on again, but you've got to remember they're wearing cycling shoes with cleats on the bottom, shoe plates on the bottom. It's difficult to run in that sort of thing, especially on a slope. Just stay on and keep going. Well,
What a finish, Sean. I'm pretty certain this one will be back in the Vuelta of España again. I'm not sure they'll want to come back that often.
Well, I don't think there'll be a lot of riders wanting to come back.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
The organiser, certainly our pictures here, as we can see, more riders coming in. It was just a spectacular final there. The percentage there was, we could see Cataldo when he came over, he just wasn't able to move for a number of minutes, and he had just so much difficulty getting to the line. And of course the two riders out in front, they finished with much more fatigue, Cataldo and De Gent, and there was just a real big fight for the stage victory. And what a battle we had between the three big favourites, the three top general classification men on this final climb of the day.
Joaquim Rodriguez taking a third place, zipping past Alberto Contador in the end. The win going to Italy's Dario Cataldo. The last win he had was this year in the Tour de l'Ain, but it was a team time trial. Before that, the GP Bargali 2 years ago. Rodriguez from Contador, from Valverde. And I think Alejandro Valverde did a good job in just pacing himself. These two are far more explosive. That's it. I think Contador knows he can't win this Vuelta. They've still got one more massive day to come in the mountains, but a rest day next, and then 2 flat days. Stages 18 to Valladolid and La Strilla, preceded by 1 day with a second category kick up at the end. So still another chance for one of those little stinging attacks, but it's looking more and more like the podium is going to be in the order of Rodriguez, Valverde, and Rodriguez, Contador, and Valverde. The 2 flat days to Valladolid and La Strilla will allow a little bit of a respite before stage 20 into the Bolo del Mundo, the Bowl of the World, which is the biggest stage of the entire Vuelta. Dario Cataldo wins by 7 seconds over Thomas De Gent. Then Rodriguez, Contador, Valverde, Quintana, Igor Anton, Talansky, Lawrence Ten Dam, and Robert Hesink in that order. Great riding by Talansky again. He really is a coming star. Christopher Froome, 5 minutes and 11 seconds down on the winner, but importantly 32 seconds down on Daniel Moreno. He's managed to save his place, Sean, but he's under a little bit of pressure.
Yes, I think he's under pressure, but held on well, and he has sufficient advantage in the general classification to hold on to that 4th place.
As you can see, there we are. It's roughly 2 minutes between Froome and Daniel Moreno. Joaquim Rodriguez leads from Contador, 28 seconds, still a chance. Then for Contador, he battles on.